Look, I'm a rock star in real life. We was doing Grand Theft Autos, hitting licks, home invasions. It was a good night. Take the goods to the plug, then he bring us back about 2K. Feeling like a baller, see the Jordan on my shoelace. Nuketown, stepping off buses, hopping on fences. Call of Duty, me and my we in the trenches. Camping at the crib, playing true crime LA. Santa Dre's nice, bumping Ice Cubes, good days. Such a 90s baby though. If we grind it, then we grind it. Man, I feel like Tony Hawk. And my homies got the iron, man, they feel like Tony Stark. And you better watch your back, cause it get wicked up the top. Feeling like Kobe back in his prime. If we talk about the numbers, then I probably go LeBron. I'm a lion out the jungle.
Yo, what it do, what it ain't, what it is. It's your boy, Mr. Wilson, man. We still booming. We booming in the morning. You know what I mean? We got a West Coast trip, lined up against the Chargers at SoFi tomorrow for Sunday Night Football. But yeah, so I just wanted to, jump on here. I saw a video with Stephen A. Smith, and I just wanted to react to it real quick. I also want to talk about, the game tomorrow. And I also wanted to touch on like Thursday Night Football. I really, really am becoming not a fan of Thursday Night Football. So I'll get into that a little later as well. So yeah, let's check this out.
If the Steelers, because we all kind of agree this is a bit of a litmus test for the Steelers. If the Steelers do win, they do beat the Chargers in a convincing manner, the way they did, I would say, against the Colts. So now they've strung together 2 wins against the Colts and the Chargers, 2 teams we would assume are playoff teams. Then will you believe fully in the Steelers, Stephen A?
Hell no. Hell no. No, we're not going to do that. Listen, let's look at the victory over the Colts. Give the Steelers credit. They said Jonathan Taylor ain't beating us. Daniel Jones, go out there and figure it out. Because they believe what we all believe, that what we've been seeing ain't really the real story about Daniel Jones. It's somewhere in the middle. Not quite as awful as he was with the New York Giants. Not quite as great as he's been with the Indianapolis Colts. Him and Sam Darnold are 2 interesting stories. They're different because Sam Darnold, I think, is an MVP candidate. But Daniel Jones, you're not looking at that way. Here's the point, though. The turnovers is what neutralized the Indianapolis Colts because off their turnovers, the Steelers scored 24 points. Mm-hmm. Without those turnovers, the Steelers offense couldn't generate but 3 points. We go into Sunday night's game, and what we're saying is without Slater, without Alt, without Mekhi Becton, okay, you look at what's transpired with the offensive line for the Los Angeles Chargers, and you're saying, oh, Justin Herbert could be pressured. Oh, he's been sacked 32 times. Oh, you could get to this brother. Get to him. If you win, the Steelers could win. What if they won, RC or Cam? 35-32, 38-35, right? And the Steelers couldn't get to Justin Herbert. We gonna look at them and say, damn, how'd that happen? You're supposed to be able to get to that, brother, because we've seen how vulnerable the Chargers were, Shay. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about winning. It's how you do it.
Okay.
It's how you do it in this game.
Now it's about how you win. I just really hate like the sports media world sometimes because it's like a propaganda against the Steelers, man. Like they will make up every excuse in the world for a team that's doing good, that plays good. But as soon as they play the Steelers, they make every excuse in the world. It's like as a fan, if you listen to the national media, you really can't even celebrate your wins because they'll always have you doubting, like, is our defense good? Are there improvements being made? I remember a couple years back when we had Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. Man, we couldn't even get in the red zone. You know what I'm saying? And then I remember there was a time period where we got in and when we got in the red zone, but we couldn't punch it all the way in. And we had to live off the leg of Chris Boswell, largely, for that time frame. Now we're actually able to capitalize on turnovers that the defense is doing. And they're still making it seem like there's some kind of negative connotation with having that ability to create turnovers. Yeah, can it last? It might not last. However, when the Steelers turned the ball over instead of us just going 3 and out, instead of us just, you know, eating up some clock, we're actually putting points on the board, not just field goals. We getting touchdowns. And so I saw somebody say, "Oh, well, they got 24 points off of turnovers." Uh, okay, and like, isn't that what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to get points off of turnovers. You're supposed to capitalize on the other team making mistakes. That's what you're supposed to do. The Steelers did that, and they're still trying to find a way to make it some kind of negative talking point. Could we live off of Chris Boswell's leg? No. But we don't have to do that no more. We haven't had to do that all season. We haven't had to do it not once. And people still find a way to hate. And quite frankly, you know, if the Steelers were 8-0, people would still find a reason to talk down on the Steelers. And it's one of the main reasons why I don't watch mainstream media anymore. You know, people send me these clips, and you know, I check them out. You know, and of course, you know, you're gonna see stuff in passing, but yeah, I mean, shoot, with this whole thing with YouTube TV, I don't even have ESPN right now. I couldn't even watch the game Monday night. You know, and Pat McAfee and them boys was talking about that. You know, I agree with that 1000%. Like, bro, I shouldn't have to have 8 subscriptions just to watch a football game. I mean, it's wild, man. You gotta have Netflix, you gotta have Prime. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have, I mean, shoot, I think Hulu had some kind of advertisement at some point. Like, and it's just like Netflix. You gotta have Netflix, and it's just like, bruh, like this is starting to be too much. I'm not with pirates or stealing TVs, TV shows, nothing like that. But they're almost creating the culture for people to do it. And people like myself, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind paying for a subscription, but at some point, you hustling. You hustling me. You're taking my my loyalty, my fanship too far. You know, and people even complained about being in people even complained about um being in network and still couldn't watch the games. Like, it's absolutely crazy, man. It is absolutely crazy that um they are hustling people like this to watch a football game. So but yeah, Stephen A, man, the dude, he flip flops so much, man, and it's really like, bro, you sure you're a Steelers fan? Like, and it's like when the Steelers do good, he the first one on the bandwagon. Oh yeah, you know, Steelers this, Steelers that, but you know what I'm saying? It's almost like he's just waiting for the opportunity to say, yeah, I knew they wasn't good. And you know, honestly, man, you're entitled to your opinion, man, but I'm like, bro, like, you sure you a fan? Because you don't talk like a fan. And in this video that I played, you know, it's just he was finding reasons to give other teams credit. Um, Herbert is a bad boy, but they down like 2 tackles. Like, they're down 2 offensive linemen. And, you know, if you're sitting here telling me, oh yeah, I still think the Chargers are gonna win, bro, you just a straight up hater, man. Like, that's just what it is. Like, there's nothing else to be said other than you just hating. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that clip, and you know, moving on to the next subject at hand, man. Steeler Nation, we out west, man. You know, the whole shutdown, you know, it's not going to stop Steeler fans from getting to Cali. You know what I'm saying? People probably did a little road trip to get out that joint, because I saw reports of TSA agents, you know, they not going to work no more. And so, like, you know, they shutting down, like, you know, entire like terminals, almost, you know, as far as like going through the the boarding process to get through the security checkpoint, because they don't have enough workers. And instead of getting to the airport, 2 hours ahead of your flight, you might want to get there 4 hours ahead of your flight, just to make sure you can get your flight on time. And so, you know, but you know, all in all, it's just something else to go through, just something else to talk about. You know, I've sat at a couple, airports, and honestly, you just get to get in a conversation with other Steelers fans. I mean, you have a Steelers hat on or a jacket or something, and people are like, "Oh snap, you go? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're going to the game." I remember we went to Atlanta, man. When we touched down, what is it, Hartfield Jackson or whatever, man, it was black and gold all through that airport, and we was talking cash money at the airport. This was, and we flew into Atlanta because I went down there to with some college friends. We went down to Atlanta like on a Thursday. I think it was Thursday. We flew down there, and it was. I was like, man, I can't imagine what it's gonna look like Saturday. I can't imagine, if people they flying in Sunday morning, they short. But I was like, I couldn't imagine what it's gonna look like on a Saturday. But yeah, when we out west, man, and for those who don't know, man, Still a Nation been out west. And so I wanted to give a shout out to a tailgate. My man 93 Elite. He's gonna be at the Steel Pride family tailgate. Hold on, I got some information on that real quick because you got to show up, what I'm saying, to these tailgates, dog. So yeah, so it's the Steel Pride tailgate. It's going to be from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. The location is 1001 Stadium Drive, located in Inglewood. And they say the pink lot. So reach out to Steel Pride Tailgate, Steel Pride Family, excuse me, on Instagram, and make sure you get some pre-sale tailgate tickets because it's a little cheaper if you get the pre-sale. So yeah, make sure you go over there, pink lot. And from what I'm seeing, like, the people that I run with, the people that I know, 93 Elite's gonna be there. Raw Swagger's gonna be there. And I want to say they're gonna have a surprise guest out that way too. So make sure you lock in with them, check in with them, and go have a good time, man. I think we're gonna be victorious at the end of the day. But like I said before, man, we gotta get this run game going. We gotta get this run game going. We cannot. Yeah, shot. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. He's way more negative than he is positive, man. Um, and it's just like, and I mean, honestly, he's one of the main reasons why I don't even watch mainstream media because I would find myself like getting so irate, getting so upset about what it was he was talking about. I'm like, bro, man, come on, man, you cannot believe this. But he has a job to do. He has to, if everybody's glazing the Steelers, he has to be the one to go against the grain. So, um, I take it with a grain of salt, man, for real. But yeah, I've kind of fallen back off mainstream media, and since I started watching like the film and stuff that you can get through like the NFL app and whatnot, I'm like, oh man, that wasn't true at all, or you get to see stuff for what it is. Yeah, so, but yeah, man, we out west, man, and I think we're victorious at the end of the day. Um, if our defensive line can control the line of scrimmage, like they did last week with the best running back in the NFL, um, yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of turnovers this game too. And the thing about the turnovers is, I mean, our defense has always, well, in recent years too, has always been known to get turnovers. It's just that we wasn't able to capitalize on the turnovers. So I really think it's dope that they are doing what they're doing, and the offense is rewarding their efforts. And so they're able to get a break. They're able to not get so worn out, And I feel as though the next step in this whole process of the team like gelling and coming together and building chemistry is getting the run game established. Um, that way, it will eat away some clock, you know, um, and it will, you know, get their defense tired, and it's just we'll be in control. We'll be in control of the whole game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if Jalen Warren can be that bell cow. But even if it's a combination of the three with Kenny G and Caleb, um, I still would like to see that. Um, and people got to remember Caleb is a rookie. So he has fresh legs. And so, if the two guys in front of him, if we have a long season, you're going to want Caleb Johnson to be confident. You're going to want him to get in there and be explosive. You don't want him second guessing himself. You want him to trust his vision. You want him to trust what he's seeing in terms of the defense and things like that. So I meant to do a follow up to see if Le'Veon actually started working with Caleb, because I know he told Caleb to reach out to him, but I don't know if that actually happened. What we got? Yeah, bro, that in combination with Ram and Duggar at safety, and it definitely felt like Mink was back there. I agree with that. The defensive line controlled that game last week, man. And, if they repeat that performance and if they can keep that going, bro, like the sky's the limit, because the problem was the opponent's offensive line was taking our linebackers out to play. So the linebackers couldn't make plays. So everything fell on the DBs. But, you know what I'm saying? Like the defensive line, they was moving TJ around. They was moving Highsmith around. A couple plays they had Nick Herbig, TJ and Highsmith out there at the same damn time. Like, if they run that back, man, bro, I think the sky's the limit, man. And I think we get through a couple tough games. I hate these analysts because they talk about how, oh well, they only put up 27. They should have put up 50. Bro, I don't care if we win by a point. That's always been the name of the game. Win the game. That's always been the objective, correct? All right then. I don't care if it's by a point. We won. And if there's stuff they need to work on, which there usually is, you fix it and you work on it for the next week. That's what it is, bro. Like, so yeah, that's a nice combination. I'm still worried about Slay, man, on the outside. I'm still worried about that. But if the defensive line doesn't give Herbert time to pick our defense apart, I think we're good, man. I think we're good. So that's really what it is, man. The defensive line got to control this game. And another thing, they're one of the highest paid defenses. So now we're complaining because one of the highest paid defenses is getting turnovers. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing what we paid them to do. They're getting turnovers. They're controlling the ball on their side of things. I mean, so yeah, if they bend but they don't break, hey man, you're paying those guys to make plays. I don't care how it looks. If we win, we win. Peyton Wilson had a game of his life, and they drug tested that dude. He came off the field. They drug tested that man because he had a good game. And I just think that's a good problem. Those are good signs. Like, drug test the whole defense. All I care. Drug test everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because if they can repeat the performance that they put up against the Colts, that's when you start to establish an identity. That's when you start to put fear into people. Like, oh snap, you gotta watch out for this dude. Well, you gotta watch out for him too. Well, dang man, how we gonna attack these guys? And with J Ram back there, man, J Ram is putting fear in these people's hearts, bro. And he's eating the penalties at the same time. Like, I am 1000% okay with having a hitter. J Ram is like Mike Mitchell on steroids. Like, this man, he is a hit stick, but he can make the plays at the same time. And, that's really what you want, man. Yo, Shad, appreciate it, man. Man, I heard that all week, especially from the Colts fans. We dominated them the whole game. And they said, all them Turner willing. Yeah, I mean, because at some point, man, it's like, bro, I'm not going to be out here going full speed sideline to sideline. For what? That's how people get hurt in meaningless, like, situations. You know what I mean? Like, you do just enough, you know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, if Roman hadn't come with the ball, we probably score again on that drive, and we end up going 30 points or more, you know what I'm saying, once again this year. I mean, the offense could have done more. They could have put up more points. But at some point you gotta start thinking like down the road. You don't want to put too much on film, right? You don't want to put too much on film. And on defense, you're not trying to run through brick walls when you have like a 20-point lead. Like, for what? You know what I'm saying? And then guys get hurt and they miss games we actually need them for. I'm okay with winning by 7. Like I said, I don't want it to come down to winning by 1, but if we win by 1, we win by 1. I mean, look at the fact that nobody and these guys, these analysts are crazy. Green Bay came to Pittsburgh, played a great game, but these same Green Bay Packers have lost to the Browns. They've lost uh, to the Panthers last week, and they've tied with the Cowboys. So, I'd rather have like consistency. I'd rather, have the slower, type consistency than be looking like, you know, all pros one week and like who the hell are you the next week? I feel like the Steelers are building an identity. They're building their culture the right way. And again, these guys, man, this team is like 60% new. So like you got to give them time. You know, the main thing for me is not repeating the same November and Decembers that we've had the last couple years, because we'll have like great, September's, we'll have great Octobers, and then like towards the back half of November, December, it's like, all right, cool, what's going on? And granted, last year we had a schedule sent straight from hell. We had 3 games in 10 days, and on that 4-week stretch, um, we played the Chiefs, we played the Eagles, we played the Ravens. All 3 of those teams were Super Bowl contenders, and one of them actually won the Super Bowl, the Eagles. So we had, man, I don't know of any team that has ever had a schedule that crazy. I don't. I do not. If somebody knows, please let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a juggernaut, man. That was a juggernaut, man. And so it's like it's easy to fall apart in those games, and it's gonna segue to like what I feel about Thursday night games. I hate Thursday night games, man. Like straight up, I hate Thursday night games. Um, I think Thursday night football is bad for the NFL. It's bad for their brand. And I say that because these guys don't get enough rest. Like we just saying like, yo, these guys play Sunday. Most teams have a Monday rest day, and then if it's a Thursday night game, so you get Tuesday to practice. You might do some, and you're not doing pad work. You're not doing nothing crazy, and then you get like a walkthrough on like a Wednesday, and then you got to travel Wednesday too. Like it is absolutely ridiculous. Like it doesn't, and it's almost like you got to prepare for them. You got to prepare for like 2 teams at once. You know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it, yeah, six division games on the back end of last year was absolutely bananas, yo. Like, and it's like, tell me you hate the Steelers without telling me you hate the Steelers, man. Because that's just wild, man. And it's just like we played again this year. We played the Ravens. I think we played them twice in like 4 weeks. We played them, and it might be like a 3 or 4 week span. We played them 2 times, like on in late in the season. Um, and I get it, they doing it for ratings, but it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think Thursday night football is not safe for the players. All this stuff about player safety and players initiatives and all this other stuff. Man, it's about money. And if they would put football on another night as well. Um, the overseas games, they're cool, whatever, because they got to travel, but they still get like time off, and although on the back end of the Thursday night games, it's like a mini bye, but if you playing your division rival, and we all know those games are like can be like crazy, like with injuries or whatever. Like they have so much more impact on your season. You know what I'm saying? We talk playoff seedings and things like that. And I was watching even like this Thursday night game with the Broncos and the Raiders. It was just bad, man. Like they was, I mean, what you call it? Raiders would throw an interception. Broncos, Bo Nix turn around and throw an interception. You know, Raiders have a fumble. You know, Broncos throw another. Like, bro, like it's bad play and it doesn't look good because these dudes ain't rested. I mean, and the Broncos didn't look anything like they were supposed to look like. Just like when we played Thursday night against the Bengals, like we got one of the older teams in the league. So you talking about, you know, needing rest and proper rest and stuff like that. Yeah, it's important. Yeah, we should be better than them. But when you talking about, you know, when you really ain't, you still healing up from the last game. You know, you know, the vet rest days, they had that throughout the week too. So it's one of them things to where it's like, bro, like, do you really care about your players, or is it about money? And we all know it's about money. What's called Gentry tipped the pass after the Broncos missed the field goal. The Raiders pass rush was 31st in the league. The Broncos were heavy favorites by 10 points. And the Raiders were absolutely 1000% destroying the Broncos offensive line. Like they was doing whatever they wanted to do to the Broncos offensive line. And their pass rush is 31st in the league. Come on now. Like some of this stuff is the writing is on the wall. And then one thing I want to highlight when when Geno went down, he was laying on the field. Bronco fans was chanting, "Let's go Broncos," as he was laying on the field. Like, I just think that's tasteless. You know, that's a little sidebar here. But I do think that's tasteless from a fan base, you know, when the guy's on the field. And on that note, you know, I just want to say it's bad when, you know, Geno with one leg is better than Kenny Pickett with two. Like, and that's I mean, and I'm not trying to bag on Kenny Pickett or anything like that. I don't hate Kenny Pickett. I just don't like how he like that. I was a Kenny Pickett advocate, you know what I'm saying, up until that game in Seattle when Mason Rudolph was starting and Kenny Pickett refused to dress. And they asked him, like, yo, have you learned anything from Mason? And he's been in the league a few years. He was like, nah, I ain't learned nothing. It's like, all right, cool, yeah. This guy, he's spoiled, he's entitled. And they gave him the keys to the vehicle way too soon. So, but yeah, you know, I just, you know, that's all I want to talk about today. You know, that clip with Stephen A. Smith, us out west. You know, I wish I could have made it out there. I love LA. Like, I love LA. Like, if you ain't been to LA, you need to go to LA. It's always love out that way because oh, you got a surprise guest. What's up, Miss Callie? What's up, Miss Callie? Oh, she ain't feeling it today. There you go. But yeah, if you ain't never been to LA, you need to go to LA, man. You know, I definitely encourage you to go out there because it's something for everybody. The weather's usually always nice. And as y'all gonna see, man, they gonna highlight it, man. It's still the fans everywhere out that joint, man. So yeah, man. I think my man Shaw left another comment. He said we I think he meant to say we own them boys. If you're talking about the Bengals, yeah, we got to spin the block on that, man. We gotta run that back. I had some Bengal fans jumping in the chat the other day talking about, you know, what they're gonna do to us and X, Y, and Z. I'm like, bro, man, miss me with that, man. There is no way. I don't think we get swept by the Bengals this year. I mean, hell, the very next week, the Bengals, like, they've lost every game since then. They've lost every game since then. What's up, Miss Callie? What's up? They lost every game since then. So, and then like last week, you got Chase Brown calling out, you know what I'm saying, the defense. That's never good. that's never good. You know, they're self-destructing. Like, and like they're coming unhinged, you know what I'm saying, at the seams. And what you see from the Steelers is like the complete opposite. We're beginning to be more cohesive. Um, so so yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. You know, if you're traveling, be safe. Like I said, get to that airport a little sooner than you supposed to. They say 2 hours, get there 4 hours because you know you got TSA workers, man. You talking about they expect them to come to work every day, man. They ain't got paid in like a month. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, y'all be safe. Y'all be safe traveling, man. Go get that dub, secure that victory, and I'm gonna see you back in the Berg. All right, I'm gonna holler at you. Peace.